I don't know who you are, friend, but you made a serious mistake coming here. Lieutenant, I want everyone in the clearing, now! Captain!
Your men are dead, and your trap has failed. I suggest running back to your master while you can.
You're going nowhere, slave!
I am not a slave. I apologize. When I asked Anso to provide a distraction for the hunters, I had no idea they'd be so numerous.
Don't worry, we do this sort of thing often.
Impressive. My name is Fenris. These men were Imperial bounty hunters, seeking to recover a Magister's lost property, namely myself. They were trying to lure me into the open. Crude as their methods were, I could not face them alone. Thankfully, Anso chose wisely.
Everything Anso said was a lie, then?
Not everything. Your employer was simply not who you believed.
If you couldn't fight them, why not just run?
There comes a time when you must stop running, when you turn and face the tiger.
That seems like a lot of effort to find one slave.
It is.
Does this have something to do with those markings?
Yes. I imagine I must look strange to you. I did not receive these markings by choice. Even so, they have served me well. Without them, I would still be a slave.
Anso's job did seem a little too easy.
Perhaps the deception was unnecessary. If so, I'm sorry. I've become too accustomed to hiding. If I may ask, what was in the chest? The one they kept in the house?
It was empty.
I suppose it was too much to hope for. Even so, I had to know.
You're expecting something else?
I was, but I shouldn't have. It was bait, nothing more.
All that for an empty chest?
No, there's more. It's as I thought. My former master accompanied them to the city. I know you have questions, but I must confront him before he flees. I will need your help.
It sounds like you intend to do more than just talk.
Danarius wants to strip the flesh from my bones, and has sent so many hunters that I've lost count. And before that, he kept me on a leash like a Qunari mage, a personal pet to mock Qunari custom. So, yes, I intend to do more than just talk.
Looks like it's going to be a long night.
I will find a way to repay you. I swear it. The Magister is staying at a mansion in Hightown. Meet me there as soon as you can. We must enter before morning. No one has left the mansion, but I've heard nothing within. Danarius may know we're here. I wouldn't put it past him.
I could stand to know a little more about this Danarius.
He is a Magister of the Tevinter Imperium. There, he is a wealthy mage with great influence. Here, he is but a man who sweats like any other when death comes for him.
What's the worst that could happen?
I do not fear death. That does not mean we should be reckless. Gone. I'd hoped... No, it doesn't matter any longer. I assume Danarius left valuables behind. Take them if you wish. I need some air. It never ends. I escaped a land of dark magic, only to have it hunt me at every turn. It is a plague burned into my flesh and my soul. And now I find myself in the company of even more mages.
You can speak to me directly.
I saw you casting spells inside. I should have realized sooner what you really were. You harbor a viper in your midst. It will turn on you and strike when you least expect. That is in its nature.
My sister is stronger than you think.
You tell him, brother.
I'm not blind. I know magic has its uses, and there are undoubtedly mages with good intentions. But even the best-intentioned mage can fall prey to temptation. And then, their power is a curse to inflict upon others.
No one's stopping you from moving on, you know.
I imagine I appear ungrateful. If so, I apologize, for nothing could be further from the truth. I did not find Danarius, but I still owe you a debt. Here is all the coin I have, as Anso promised. Should you find yourself in need of assistance, I would gladly render it.
Your old master must want something more than just a runaway slave.
He doesn't want me at all, just the markings on my skin. They are lyrium, burned into my flesh to provide the power that Danarius required of his pet. And now, he wishes his precious investment returned, even if he must rip it from my corpse.
Seems like a waste of a perfectly handsome elf.
The truth is, I know nothing of the ritual that placed these markings on me. It was Danarius's choice, one he now regrets.
You've said Danarius is a magister, but little else.
In Tevinter, the Magisters hold all the power. Over the Chantry, over the Imperial Court, over life itself. It is nothing for one to own a slave. Danarius had many, but none he valued so much as me.
Then how did you get away?
Is it not enough that I did? I carved my path to freedom in blood. I left that life behind. Yet his bounty hunters follow me no matter where I go. I will run no longer.
I've seen some of your abilities. Do they come from those markings?
Some. All I know is that even in the Imperium, warriors such as myself are rare. Perhaps they believe I should feel honored.
Do you think your master will keep chasing you?
He is too proud not to. Perhaps one day the hunt will cost him more than he is willing to pay. But I doubt that matters any longer.
Are you going to have a problem with my companions?
I will watch them carefully if we travel together. I can promise no more.
I'm planning an expedition I might need help with.
Fair enough. Should you ever have need of me, I will be here. If Danarius wishes his mansion back, he is free to return and claim it. Beyond that, I am at your disposal. Egregio Pavali. There are 6 bottles in the cellar. Danarius used to have me pour it for his guests. My appearance intimidated them, he said, which he enjoyed.
I can't imagine why they would be put off.
You say what's on your mind, I'll give you that. It's good I can still take pleasure in the small things.
You could have offered me a glass first, you know.
There's more, if you're really interested.
Perish the thought. How else would you redecorate the walls?
I've wanted to leave my past behind me, but it won't stay there. Tell me, have you never wanted to return to Ferelden?
I have no home left to return to.
The Blight is over. You could rebuild what you lost. Do you truly not want to?
My mother came from Kirkwall. Our heritage is here.
Having a place where you can put down roots. I understand. Still, to have the option must be gratifying.
Do you intend to keep living here?
I haven't decided. For now, it's as good as any other place. I would return to Saharan if I could, but there is no life for me there.
Is that where you're from?
So I've been told.
Were you very young when you left then?
Perhaps.
You could track your former master down, I assume.
I imagine he has returned to Minrathous, though I dare not go near the city while he is alive. No, it is better to wait for him to leave his fortress, fight from a fortified position. I do not expect your help when that day comes, but I would not turn it aside.
You've been on the run a long time then.
3 years now. Danarius has a way of finding me. Perhaps it is the markings. Whatever the means, it never takes him long to follow. This is the first time I've given him reason to pause. I suppose there are advantages in numbers.
Haven't you sought help before?
Hirelings, when I could steal the coin. Never anyone of substance. Until you. Danarius will not give up, however. I await his return.
Sounds like a tough situation.
I'm not made of glass. I should thank you again for helping me against the hunters.
Yes, you should.
Had I known Ansel would find me a man so capable, I might have asked him to look sooner.
You sound like you're about to ask for a loan.
Well, this mansion does require some upkeep. Perhaps I'll practice my flattery for your next visit? With any luck, I'll become better at it.
So the Seneschal's tax collector won't be coming around again like you asked. Funny story.
I'll pass, but thank you for the help.
Spoil sport. Why you want to squat up here in Hightown is beyond me.
I like the view.
So do I.
Three years. There's still no sign of Danarius. I'm beginning to wonder if he's finally given up.
This is his mansion, isn't it? He must know you're here.
Would you be surprised to learn that it isn't, in fact, his mansion? It belongs to a Tevinter merchant, one who has evidently given up on the place. Perhaps he is dead. Perhaps Danarius killed him. Either way, if Danarius is aware of my presence, he has done nothing.
Don't tell me you're going to miss all the attention.
Tell me, what do you do when you stop running?
You take a breath and look around. And start anew.
I don't know how. My first memory is receiving these markings. The lyrium being branded into my flesh. The agony wiped away everything. Whatever life I had before I became a slave, it's lost. I shouldn't trouble you with this. My problems are not yours.
I might be able to help with your problems. Or give you a few more.
Only a few.
It depends if I really work at it.
Tempting. You're a handsome man, Hawke. Is there no one else who has your attention?
Do you see anyone else here?
I'm an escaped slave and an elf, living in a borrowed mansion. None of those things bother you.
And I'm a refugee as well as a human. Does that bother you?
You have me there. You raise an interesting point. I'll have to consider it.
I have something for you.
It's a book.
I see your eyesight is still working fine. The book is by Shartan, the elf who helped Andraste free the slaves. You know about him, right?
A little. It's just... slaves are not permitted to read. I've never learned.
It's not too late to learn, Fenris.
Isn't it? Sometimes I wonder. I don't mean to seem ungrateful. I do appreciate the thought. I've always wanted to learn more of Shartan. Perhaps this is my chance. Hunters.
Stop right there! You are in possession of stolen property. Back away from the slave now and you'll be spared.
Fenris is a free man!
I won't repeat myself. Back away from the slave now!
I am not your slave! Where is he?
Please, don't kill me.
Tell me!
I don't know. I don't know, I swear. Hadriana brought us. She's at the holding caves north of the city. I can show you the way.
No need. I know which ones you speak of.
Then let me go. I beg you. I swear
You chose the wrong master. Hadriana. I was a fool to think I was free. They'll never let me be.
This is someone you know?
My old master's apprentice. I remember her well. A sniveling social climber that would sell her own children if she thought it would please Danarius. If she's here, it's at his bidding. He knew he wouldn't let this go.
Then why are we standing around?
The holding caves held slaves in the old times, but apparently they are no longer abandoned. We must go quickly, before Hadriana has a chance to prepare, or flee.
So...
We must be careful. There were many such holdings once, especially in the mountains, where individual slavers kept private pens. They were designed to protect against raids by fellow slavers. No doubt it's why Hadriana chose this place.
Do slavers attack each other often?
They did. What better way to find slaves than to steal them? The holdings outside of Tevinter have mostly been abandoned, but they still exist.
Maybe she wanted to redecorate. Add a few flowers.
She's not a flowers kind of woman. Let's hope this isn't a waste of time. Are you hurt? Did they touch you?
They've been killing everyone. They cut Papa, bled him.
Why? Why would they do this?
These poor people. This is ghastly. The Magister. She said she needed power, that someone was coming to kill her. We tried to be good. We did everything we were told. She loved Papa's soup. I don't understand.
Is the Magister still here?
I think so. The Magister said they were to prepare for battle. I think she's very frightened.
She has every reason to be.
Please don't hurt her. She'll be so angry if you hurt her.
You're just a slave to them. Property to be used.
Everything was fine until today.
It wasn't. You just didn't know any better.
Are you my master now?
No.
But I can cook. I can clean. What else will I do?
If you go to Kirkwall, I can help you.
Yes? Oh, praise the Maker. Thank you.
I didn't realize you were in the market for a slave.
I gave her a job, Fenris.
Ah, then... that's good. My apologies. Let's find Hadriana and be done with this place.
Stop! You do not want me dead!
There is only one person I want dead more.
I have information, Elf, and I will trade it in return for my life.
Ha! The location of Danarius. What good will that do me? I'd rather he lose his pet pupil.
You have a sister. She is alive. You wish to reclaim your life? Let me go, and I will tell you where she is.
How do we know you're even telling the truth?
You don't. But I know Fenris, and I know what he's searching for. If he wants me to betray Danarius, he'll have to pay for it.
This is your call.
So I have your word. I tell you, and you let me go.
Yes. You have my word.
Her name is Varania. She is in Carinus, serving a magister by the name of Ahriman.
A servant, not a slave.
She's not a slave.
I believe you. We are done here.
We can't be sure she was telling the truth.
Of course we can't be sure. This could be a trap. Danarius could have sent Hadriana here to tell me about this sister. Even if he didn't, trying to find her would still be suicide. Danarius has to know about her and has to know that Hadriana knows. But all that matters is I finally got to crush this bitch's heart. May she rot, and all the other mages with her.
Maybe we should leave.
No, I don't want you comforting me. You saw what was done here. There's always going to be some reason, some excuse why mages need to do this. Even if I found my sister, who knows what the Magisters have done to her? What has magic touched that it doesn't spoil? I need to go. I've been thinking about what happened with Hadriana. I took out my anger on you, undeservedly so. I was not myself. I'm sorry.
I had no idea where you went. I was concerned.
I needed to be alone. When I was still a slave, Hadriana was a torment. She would ridicule me, deny my meals, pound my sleep. Because of her status, I was powerless to respond, and she knew it. The thought of her slipping out of my grasp now. I couldn't let her go. I wanted to, but I couldn't.
I'm glad you killed her then.
I should be happy now that Hadriana is dead. Instead, I feel nothing but disquiet. This hate. I thought I'd gotten away from it, but it dogs me no matter where I go. To feel it again, to know it was they who planted it inside me. It was too much to bear. But I didn't come here to burden you further.
We're friends, Fenris.
I'm not certain I know what that is. Last bottle of the Egregio. I've been saving it for a special occasion.
And what's that?
The anniversary of my escape. Astia Vala Femundis. Care to hear the story?
I thought you avoided talking about this.
Not on special occasions.
I enjoy listening to you talk.
And I enjoy a man willing to speak his mind. Let's see. You've heard of Saharan? The Imperium and the Qunari have fought over the island for centuries now. I was there with Danarius during a Qunari attack. I managed to get him to a ship, but there was no room for a slave. I was left behind. I barely got out of the city alive.
There's nothing like war for covering one's escape.
I had no intention of escaping. That time. There are rebels in the Saharan jungles called Fog Warriors. They found me and took me in, nursed me back to health. I stayed with them for a time, until Danarius finally came for me.
He was relieved to see you'd survived, right?
Relieved to see his investment hadn't ended up in Qunari hands, perhaps. I'd grown fond of the rebels. They bowed to no master and fought for their freedom. It was beyond my experience. When Danarius came, they refused to let him take me. He ordered me to kill them. So I did. I killed them all.
Once a slave, always a slave?
It felt inevitable. My master had returned and this fantasy life was over. But once it was done, I looked down at their bodies. I felt I couldn't. I ran and never looked back.
Couldn't you have found other Fog Warriors? Become a rebel?
Even if I did, I felt unworthy. I had no way of knowing if I could truly escape from Danarius then. I didn't even know what that meant. I simply had to get away. I stowed aboard a ship to the mainland and moved south, chased by my former master every step of the way.
I have to wonder why you stayed with Danarius as long as you did.
You have not been a slave. A slave does not dream of freedom or wonder at possibilities. You think only of your master's desires and what the next hour will bring. It did not occur to me that I could be anything else until I had a taste of it.
But there are stories of slaves rebelling all the time. They did in Kirkwall.
The ritual that gave me my markings also stripped me of my memory. Whatever I was before may as well have never been. Perhaps if I knew, I might have felt differently.
How well did you know these Fog Warriors?
I knew them only a few months, but in that time, I felt as if I truly lived. They were bold, strong, free with their affections. I was in awe of them, and owed them everything. And I turned on them even so.
Didn't Danarius stop you?
The rebels had wounded him. The soldiers he brought attempted to capture me, unsuccessfully. It was weeks before Danarius was able to mount the hunt in earnest, but by then, I was already gone.
Gripping stuff. You should write it down.
You think they teach slaves how to write? I've never spoken about what happened to anyone. I've never wanted to. Perhaps this is what it means to have a friend.
It might mean more than that.
I have never allowed anyone too close. When my markings were created, the pain was extraordinary, and the memory lingers. But you are a man unlike any other, Hawke. With you, it might be different.
We could find out.
On another evening, perhaps. A last toast, then. To the fallen.
Fenris?
I have been thinking of you. In fact, I've been able to think of little else. Command me to go, and I shall.
Did I say anything? Was it that bad?
I'm sorry, it's not... It was fine. No, that is insufficient. It was better than anything I could have dreamed.
It can be a lot to take in, I know.
It's not that. I began to remember my life before. Just flashes. It's too much. This is too fast. I cannot do this.
Your life before? What do you mean?
I've never remembered anything from before the ritual, but there were faces, words. For just a moment, I could recall all of it, and then it slipped away.
If it brings your memory back, maybe we need to do it more often.
Perhaps you don't realize how upsetting this is. I've never remembered anything, and to have it all come back in a rush, only to lose it. I can't. I can't.
We can work through this.
I'm sorry. I feel like such a fool. All I wanted was to be happy. Just for a little while. Forgive me. Are you certain it's her?
An elf matching your description on the ship you named. And alone, as far as I could tell.
I need to know if it's a trap.
I did as you asked, Fenris. Now it's up to you. You talk to him, Hawke. I've had my fill for today.
Then heed us, first of us.
Maybe it's just me, but I'd swear you're upset.
It's my sister. I didn't tell you, but I followed up on Hadriana's information. Everything she said was true. I had to keep it quiet, but I eventually contacted Varania and sent her coin enough to come meet me. And now she's here.
She was in Carinus after all.
My sister left Magister Ahriman's service, and I found her in Minrathous. That made things more difficult. But according to the men I paid, it's just as Hadriana said. She's not a slave. She's a tailor, in fact. Getting a letter to her was difficult, and she didn't believe me at first. But she's finally come.
Yes, everything's gone exactly according to plan. What could be worse?
Yes, yes, laugh at me. Come with me, Hawke. I need you there when I meet her.
Where is she?
If we go to the Hanged Man during the day, she'll be there, for the next week at least. It would mean a lot to me. That's all I ask.
It really is you.
Varania? I remember you. We played in our master's courtyard while Mother worked. You called me.
Leto. That's your name.
What's wrong? Why are you so...
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Ah, my little Fenris. Predictable as always.
I'm sorry it came to this, Leto.
You led him here.
Now, Fenris. Don't blame your sister. She did what any good Imperial citizen should.
I never wanted these filthy markings, Danarius. But I won't let you kill me to get them.
How little you know, my pet. And this is your new master, then? The champion of Kirkwall? Impressive.
Fenris doesn't belong to anyone.
Do I detect a note of jealousy? It's not surprising. The lad is rather skilled, isn't he?
Shut your mouth, Danarius.
The word is master.
You are no longer my master.
I had no choice, Leto.
Stop calling me that.
He was going to make me his apprentice. I would have been a magister.
You sold out your own brother to become a magister.
You have no idea what we went through, what I've had to do since Mother died. This was my only chance.
And now you have no chance at all.
Please, don't do this. Please, tell him to stop.
Hey, I'm a neutral party here.
I would have given you everything. I thought discovering my past would bring a sense of belonging, but I was wrong. Magic has tainted that too. There is nothing for me to reclaim. I am alone.
I'm here, Fenris.
I feel unclean, like this magic is not only etched into my skin, but has also stained my soul. And now this. Let's go. I need to get out of here.
You know, you could go anywhere you like now.
I'm aware of that.
Oh, you could become a raider. You could join my crew.
The crew of your non-existent ship?
Well, with that attitude, you're never going anywhere, are you?
She doesn't understand. Yes, I am free. Danarius is dead. Yet, it doesn't feel like it should.
Seems like you should be dancing for joy.
I would have thought so. I thought if I didn't need to run and fight to stay alive, I would finally be able to live as a free man does. But how is that? Whatever past I had died with my sister. I have nothing now. Not even an enemy.
You're not reminiscing about the good old days of being hunted, I hope.
I wouldn't go that far. It's just... difficult to overlook the stain that magic has left on my life. If I seem bitter, it's not without cause. Perhaps it is time to move forward. I just don't know where that leads. Do you?
You're still blaming magic for everything.
Think about it, Hawke. Look at what happened to your mother, your sister, so many others. Is there anyone whose life has been touched by magic that actually benefits?
You make a good point.
There are problems enough in this world without putting such power in the hands of those too weak to resist its allure. Them I fear, as should you, as should anyone. But what's important now is moving forward. I only wish I knew where that led.
Wherever it leads, I hope it means we'll stay together.
That is my hope as well. We have never discussed what happened between us 3 years ago.
You didn't want to talk about it?
I felt like a fool. I thought it better if you hated me. I deserve no less. But it isn't better. That night, I remember your touch as if it were yesterday. I should have asked your forgiveness long ago. I hope you can forgive me now.
I need to understand why you left Fenris.
I've thought about the answer 1,000 times. The pain, the memories it brought up, it was too much. I was a coward. If I could go back, I would stay. Tell you how I felt.
What would you have said?
Nothing could be worse than the thought of living without you.
Oh, I don't know. This might be fun to hold over you a while longer.
If there is a future to be had, I will walk into it gladly at your side.
Take a look at this.
A blade of mercy. I remember these. You see them in the Imperium. Replicas of the sword Archon Hessarian used to kill Andraste. This one looks finely crafted.
So they sell these things at every market stand in Minrathous?
Hardly. Here, let me show you. These are gifts of honor, given to those who have performed a service for the Imperium. Danarius coveted them, as I recall.
You don't talk about the Imperium much.
It's not a place I remember fondly.
Doesn't the Chantry forbid mages to rule over men?
Ah, yes. Magic is meant to serve man, and not rule over him. In the Imperium, they say that means magic should serve the greater good, which they claim the Magisters do. Do not believe it.
What do the Magisters do that's so bad?
What you call the Circle of Magi rules the Imperium. They control the Chantry as well as the Templars. They claim the Magisters are governed by holy law, but they are the law. They do as they please. All of them.
So they all use forbidden magic?
The more powerful the mage, the higher he rises in the Senate. He makes the laws, he determines what is acceptable. Everyone who wishes to compete must do the same, or be crushed. Perhaps it wasn't always this way, but it is now.
The slave trade is still in operation in the Imperium.
It varies from one Archon to the next. One outlawed it many years ago. He was quickly assassinated. Tevinter would crumble without slaves. The Imperium's elite know no other way.
Seems like a slave rebellion would end that.
There are rebellions all the time, actually. Most of them end poorly. The Senate always unites when faced with sedition. One day, things will change. Then the Magisters will see just how fragile their hold is.
I heard that the Imperium has been at war with the Qunari for decades.
Ever since the Qunari landed on the island of Saharan, yes. 80 years ago? Perhaps more. The Archon demanded aid from the rest of Thedas. It didn't get him far.
They've been at war a long time.
The Qunari only ever wanted Sahara, which they have. The Imperium has made numerous attempts to retake the island, without real success. I believe the Qunari are saving their strength, building a massive fleet. When they wish true war, we will know.
Are the Qunari that strong?
They once fought all the lands of Thedas to a standstill. If they wanted to conquer the Imperium, they would. From what I saw on Saharan, they will not relent. They believe even more strongly than the Magisters that they are in the right.
The blade is yours, if you want it.
For me? Yes. I think I'd like that. I'll think of the irony as I wield it. Thank you, Hawke. I hope you're prepared for what we're about to face. Desperation will drive these mages to terrible acts. I've seen it before. It will not be pretty.
What do you mean?
The Imperium has its own Templars, and they too must act when mages cross the line. The line is in a different place, but the end result is the same. We will see abominations born of terror and wrath. Men you never believed capable of depravity, embracing it gladly.
Abominations and blood mages. Sounds like a Tuesday.
It does sound that way, doesn't it? I may not get the chance to say this again. Meeting you was the most important thing that ever happened to me, Hawke. Promise me you won't die. I can't bear the thought of living without you.
I didn't quite catch that. Could you speak up?
Then let me make it clearer for you.
I will not be defeated! Make her hate your humble servant!
Of the slaughter spread quickly. The champion's name became a rallying cry for all mages, a reminder of their brutal oppression. He'd shown not only what the Templars were willing to do, but that they could be defied. The circles rose up and set the world on fire. Here at home, the city all but got down on its hands and knees and begged the champion to rule. As for the rest of us, eventually, we all left the champion's side for one reason or another. Well, all of us except for Fenris.
I heard you had family and friends in Kirkwall. Where are they now?
My sister's a Grey Warden. I had my friend Aveline take her as far from Orlais as possible. When all the Wardens started acting strangely, I had to keep my family safe. Fenris would have killed himself to protect me. I didn't want to give him that chance.